Hello everyone, my name is Merle Whitney and I am a Microsoft Certified Trainer. In this session, we're going to be taking a look at Microsoft 365 and the role that it plays in administration of your domain. Some of you who would have been following the MCSA Server 2016 track would be familiar with tools such as Active Directory Users and Computers or Group Policy Management. And these tools you would have used within your domain to create and manage your users, your groups, your objects within Active Directory. And you would have created policy for these users, these objects, and these devices within Group Policy Management. So you will already be familiar with some of the concepts that we're going to go through. For those who are learning these concepts for the first time, you will find that Microsoft 365 and the admin centers within Microsoft 365 are easy to navigate and the concepts are easy to grasp. From the Microsoft 365 Center, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a user, give that user a license and assign a role to that user. We're going to click on Users and select Active Users. Within the Active Users pane here, we're going to click on Add User. The username, we're going to give the user Abdul, A-B-D-U-L, and the last name is Aline. Click in the display name box and you will see that the name appears. And we want to give the user a username. So we're going to go ahead with ABDUL. You can see that the domain is listed for that user. And we want to set the password for the user. And we can either auto-generate a password or we can click Let me create the password. So we're going to go ahead and create a strong password for that user. And then we have a choice to require the user to change the password when they first sign in. And we can also send the password in email upon completion. And if you want to send that password to yourself, you can click on Send Password in Email. You can enter the email address of the person to whom you would like to send this password to. And you see here you can email the password to up to 5 recipients. So you simply enter the email address here. And if you want to put more than one email address, you have to put a semicolon between the email address. So we're not going to send an email here, so we're going to take out that tick by Send Passwords Email upon completion. We're going to go ahead and click Next. You select the location and you assign a product license. Now, if you are the owner of the tenant, you can only assign a license to a person if you yourself have that license. So you might have the license to a number of products. And what you would want to do here is to just click on the checkbox for that product that you want to assign to the user. Here we already have Enterprise Mobility selected for that person. And you also have the option of creating a user without a product license, although it's not recommended because of course you have limited or no access to Office 365 until you assign a product license. So we're going to go ahead and click next. And here we want to select the role, because the user can be a simple user with no administrative access, or you can click the down arrow here. You can select admin access, and you can choose the access that you want for this particular person. You might want the person to be in help desk admin, a global admin, a user admin. Or again, you might want no admin access for that person. You might just want that person to be a regular user. Let's say we wanted the person to be help desk. You click on help desk and you click next. And you can see that you have all the information that we put in. You have the display and username, you have the password, you have the product license, the person, you assign them to the role of an help desk admin. And we did not do the profile, so you can come back on this page, you can click edit, go back here into the profile for that person. Click the down arrow and you can put in the person's profile information, which should be the person's job profile, the department they're in, the office, the phone number, the fax number, the mobile phone, the street address, city, state, province, zip, country or region. All of those things you can put in as you create the name, or you can go back, you can edit and you can put in that information. We're simply going to click next here, and we're going to click finish adding. So we can see here that Abdul Aleen was added to active users, so we can simply close. Now what we want to do here is look at some of the things that we can do with Abdul. For example, we can click on the key here to reset the password. We can click here on more actions to manage the product license. We can manage the group that Abdul is in. We can edit the username. We can delete the user. You can also do that from the menu at the top where it says more actions here. You see you have more options than you had before. You have manage contact information. You have edit sign-in status. You can click on that and decide the sign-in status of the person. So you create the user. You also manage the user from this console. We're going to click on show all here because I want to go to Active Directory ASA and show you that Abdul is there. You're going to scroll down, and on the admin centers we're going to select ASA Active Directory. And we want to click on users, and you can see that Abdul Aleen is a user, and he is in the domain valewis2.onmicrosoft.com, and he is a member. So you now have the user in Active Directory. But Active Directory Azure, which is Microsoft Online Active Directory. We have switched back to Microsoft 365 Admin Center because we want to look at how you would set up a password policy for your users within Azure Active Directory. So within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, we want to click on Settings. Then we want to click on Organizational Settings. and we want to select security and privacy from the organizational settings. And we can see here we have a number of options. The one that we want to look at is password expiration policy. So we're going to click on that. And we see here that we will be able to choose the number of days before user's password will expire and the number of days before they're notified about an upcoming password expiration. And this policy is going to apply to everyone within the organization. So you click on set user password to expire after a number of days, and you can see here that the default is 90. Now you can change that default to what you want it to be, and you can also change the days before the user is notified about expiration. So let's just change this to 100. And you see here, this needs to be a number between 14 and 730. And you click on Save Changes. Now, for your on-premise server 2016, for those of you who did the MTSA track, you would have remembered that we would have gone through group policy settings, security settings to set up our password expiration, account policies. So it's a bit different, and the interface is a little different, a lot easier to find things within Microsoft 365. We're going to go ahead and say Save Changes for that setting to go through. And once it's saved, then you can just simply close the console here. We also want to take a look at our security on the Admin Center. Security and compliance. This is where you're going to be able to set up your security policies. In your Server 2016, you would have set up your policies through Group Policy, through Security Policies. But here you can see that we can do alerts, we can give permissions, classifications, data loss, record management, information governance, etc. And all of these things you can set up under 365 Security and Compliance. Also in Active Directory, you can go to Security and set up policies. We go back to the 365 Admin Center. You go back into Azure Active Directory. Click on Azure Active Directory again. And you can scroll down to get security. Click on security. There are lots of policies that you can set here. You have identity protection, you have conditional access, you have the security center, you can manage identity, you can manage multi-factor authentication, different authentication methods. You can look at reports for risky users, risky sign-in, and risk detections. So your interface is a little different from what you would have seen within Server 2016. But I find that it is really easy to navigate all of these services and these settings, and the concepts are quite easy to grasp. In our next session, we will look at some more of the security settings and identity settings that we can accomplish with Microsoft 365 administration. This is the end of our session, and I would like to thank you for listening.